All right, good morning. So on tap for today, we're going to revisit that 7-7 reinterpretation from Tuesday. We'll listen to it a few times, and then we're actually going to sing through that reinterpretation and talk about some strategies for figuring out key areas and things if you do encounter this on your quiz. And then we are going to, again, actually revisit Tuesday's rhythm and complicate it just a little bit. So let's take a listen again to that 7-7 reinterpretation that you guys did in your breakout groups on Tuesday. So I'm just going to play it first time through just for you to kind of remember what it sounded like. So here it is. Okay, so that was your refresher listen. Now, two choices here. As you listen this time, you can either sing the bass line along on numbers or jot it down, one way or the other. You're going to get to a point, obviously, where you're going to have to switch your numbers. So unlike the progressions that we sing in class, this one doesn't repeat the pivot chord. So you've got to figure out when is the appropriate time to change your numbers. So either jotting down or singing along. I would sing with you, but because of the lag, I'm going to be behind you, and that's just going to mess you up. So you are on your own for this time through. Here you go. All right. Now we're going to vacate from the recording, and I'm just going to play it at the keyboard for you. The voicings might not be the same, but the bass line will be the same, harmonies will be the same, so we'll be fine. Now we can kind of work in real time. So let's work through this bass line as a group. So if you jotted it down, now you're singing. If you were singing last time, let's work through it that way again. So bass line ones for everybody. So we're on 1, up to 4, and we actually stay on 4, right? 4, 4, we stay there again, and this one is your dominant. So dominant quality chord with 4 in the bass means that we are going down to 3. And this next movement is actually really unusual. To go from 3 to 7 in the bass doesn't happen all that often, but that is what happens. So 3, 7, and this is your kind of money harmony right here. So even if you're not able to initially figure out what's going on, we have scale degree 7 in the bass. Scale degree 7 in an outer voice always goes to 1. But what happens here is this scale degree 7 instead goes there. So that's your first hint that something unusual is going on, is this funky resolution of scale degree 7. Now, when we take stock of the fact that this is a fully diminished 7th chord, so if we're in our original key, we're assuming this is root position. So numbers would be 7, 2, 4, and flat 6. But it resolves down by whole step to this major triad. So as you're listening, you might have even called this 6 at some point in the bass, because it technically it is from our original key, but listen to the quality. So major triad, we were in a major key, so we're expecting scale degree 6 to be minor. So this is definitely your other big signal that something weird is going on that we've probably modulated. So we went from this fully diminished 7th chord that we assumed was in root position to here. Now think about your numbers in a 7-7. 7, 2, 4, flat 6. If this was 4, it would need to resolve down by half step if we're going to a major key. If it was flat 6, it would also have to resolve down by half step, which leaves us with one other option, which is this becomes 2 to 1. And you might have eventually figured out that by the rest of the progression, because from here we get this tonic prolongation and then just a regular progression. Here's your predominant, potential 6-4, regular old 5 to 1. So looking ahead then to the quiz, and the reason I went through this whole process with the 7-7 is if you have that as a pivot chord, you've got to be able to think in scale degrees to figure out kind of what key you're going to, what the key relationship might be, because that 7 fully diminished 7th chord can take you anywhere. Well, not anywhere. It can take you to a lot of places because it could be reinterpreted in any inversion. So you've got to be really aware of the scale degrees and the resolution of that chord. Now, if you would like to just see the progression in full, here it is. And we are going to sing through this. So let's take a look at it. Now, I've just written out the 7-7 as the pivot chord. So we will sing it twice. So just for reference then, you've got 7, 2, 4, flat 6 because we're in a major key. If we're in a minor key, it'd be regular 6 with leading tone 7. And then, since we're changing the inversion, you're going to sing it as 2, 4, flat 6, and 7 in the new key. Again, if you inflect your numbers, then go to town. Otherwise, you're just going to call it 6. Okay, can we try and sing through this? So for right now, let's just get us through the tonic prolongation in the new key. So we'll just go through to there. And then once we're a little more comfy, we'll fill it out and do the whole thing. But let's give it a go and see how you do. So think about what your numbers are for a 2, 6, 5. It's 2, 4, 6, 1, right? You're in first inversion. So 4, 6, 1, and 2. And remembering that you're still on scale degree 4 for that dominant. Okay, let's go. I'll play with you. Ready? And 1, 3, 5, 3, 1, 4. Now you're going to have a whole step on the bottom here. 4, 5. First inversion tonic. 3, 5, 1, 5, 3. All right, I want you to think in your inner ear, find 7. Sing it for me. And check yourself. And now let's arpeggiate all minor thirds up. 7, 2, 4, 6, 4, 2, 7. Change your numbers. 2, 4, 6, 7, 6, 4, 2. Now down a whole step. 1, 3, 5, 3, 1. Now here's a tricky part. Build this dominant. So 2 is in the bass. 2, 4, 5, 7, 5, 4, 2, 3, 5, 1, 5, 3. Okay, let's stop there. Now, as you were singing that 5, 4, 3, you might have noticed that it sounded a lot like the 7, 6, 5. Numbers almost exactly the same. The only difference is the difference between that flat 6 and the scale degree 5. So nailing that 5, 4, 3 is really helpful in getting you comfortable in the new key, and it is made a little bit easier by this really close relationship it has to the 7, 6, 5. Okay, can we sing it one more time just through that through that prolongation one last time. Ready? And 1, 3, 5, 3, 1. Whole step on the bottom here. 3, 5, 1, 5, 3. Think about where scale degree 7 is. Hear it. Go ahead and sing it. Check yourself. And now let's spell up that 7 chord. 7, 2, 4, 6, 4, 2, 7. Change your numbers. 4, 6, 7, 6, 4, 2. Down a whole step. Very similar chord here. All right, now let's sing it one more time. This time we're going to sing the whole thing. I absolutely trust you to do the second half of that modulated portion without us having to rehearse it a lot. So let's do it one more time. I'm just going to play less this time. We're not going to pause before the 7 chords. So as you're singing that 1, 6, I need you to really be thinking about where scale degree 7 is, because we're not going to take a break there. So I'll play with you, but I'll kind of shadow you and give you a little help after you've sung through the chord. All right, let's see how you go. Last time. Ready, and... Change your numbers. Regular 4 chord. Cadential dominant. And cadence. All right, fine. Takeaway message with that, as you're listening to these progressions for your quiz, which is going live in like 20 minutes, if you do think that you have a progression that's using a 7-7 reinterpretation, really think about how that 7 chord resolves, because that's going to give you a lot of information about what key area you've moved to. Okay, cool. Let's move on. And this top line should look familiar. It's the same rhythm we did on Tuesday, which was the same rhythm we had done the previous Thursday. So hopefully my goal with this is that you guys are becoming comfortable with it, and it's getting progressively cleaner as we go. So take 30 seconds and look at that top line, and we will ta and speak it as a group a couple times in a second. All right, so we're going to go through this, and this first time I am going to speak triplets underneath you for this entire passage. So I'm going to speak triplet eighth notes underneath. so that you have the subdivisions kind of in your ear, even if you're not doing them. So your goal then is to make your attack points for these guys match up with one of the triplets that I'm speaking. Okay, let's give it a go. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Ta, 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 ta. Okay, let's do it one more time. This time I'm not going to subdivide underneath you. So you are on your own. I will ta it with you, but no subdivisions. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Ta, 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 ta. Okay, so hopefully that line is becoming more and more comfortable for you. Now I've taken it and I've made it slightly more complicated on the second line. The first thing you might notice is that now we have some subdivisions within your triples. So this eighth note triplet has a little subdivision at the beginning, and then our quarter and half note triplets also have subdivisions on some of their beats. The thing to keep in mind is, let's say for these quarter note triplets, again, and I know I've said this a bajillion times and you're probably sick of hearing it from me, but you've got your eighth note triplets that are paired off, right? This notation up here is telling you that you're taking that last quarter note triplet and just dividing it in half. In essence, all it's saying is that that last beat, just regular eighth note triplets, that's all it is. It looks different the way it's notated there in green, but the orange is what it is you are actually performing. So it's just regular eighth note triplets at the end of that measure. So can we try that? Can we just do measure 2 by itself? So let's try it. Yeah, let's just try it as written. Measure 2, 3 and 4. Ta, 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 ta. Again, 3 and 4. Ta, 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 ta. We're going to do it one more time. I'm just going to speak triplets underneath you while you do it. 3 and 4. Ta, 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 ta. So making sure that you're locking in with that triplet grid. Okay. Now, measure 3. So measure 3, we're doing the same conceptual thing. We're taking one of those triplets and we're dividing it in half. In essence, the second beat of sorts in that measure is going to sound exactly like those quarter note triplets. It's the same exact rhythm. If you're thinking in eighth note triplets, which we went through that whole rigmarole on Tuesday, and my hope was that that would be helpful for at least some of you. Some of you might still be thinking in quarter note triplets, and that's fine, but the eighth notes give you an extra layer of a thought process there. So eighth note triplets then. The half note triplets, like we said, are groupings of 4. So we've got one here and then one here. This middle one is cleaved in half. So in essence, you just have some paired eighth note triplets in the middle there. Now, what I'd like us to do to kind of prep that is we're going to ta an entire measure of just eighth note triplets, and then we're going to count out the subdivisions for the rhythm in that measure. So I'll do it once so you know what I'm talking about. 3 and 4. Ta 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 ta. 1 2 3 4. 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 4. So can we try it together? Ta full measure and then count your subdivisions with the second measure. 3 and 4. Ta 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 ta. 1 2 3 4. 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 4. One more time. 3 and 4. Ta 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 ta. 1 2 3 4. 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 4. Now, can we do that same process, but instead of counting, I would like you to actually just ta the rhythm. So we're going to do a full measure of eighth note triplets and then basically do measure 3 as it's notated. 3 and 4. Ta 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 ta. One more time. 3 and 4. Ta 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 ta. Okay, now as we got to that stage, if it kind of fell apart, and this goes for whenever you're practicing these, take it back a step. We talked about this a lot on Tuesday. So then your next step might be to go back to the counting the subdivisions out loud. You might get rid of the conducting for a little bit and tap the eighth note triplets while you're speaking the measure 3 rhythm. That way you have the subdivision happening kind of underneath the surface. That for me is my go-to. So the first thing I get rid of is the conducting and put the pulse stream in my body somewhere. And that keeps the subdivisions in a space where I can kind of access them. So since I can't speak the subdivisions out loud and ta the rhythm, I can at least put them in my body in another way. So with that then, can we go back to the beginning of the second green line and see how we do kind of tackling the entire thing. So keep those eighth notes in your ears. I will ta them for you the first time through. So you're going to hear me default to eighth note triplets right about here. So use them underneath if it's helpful. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Ta, 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 ta. All right, the other challenge that I didn't even mention is this top line. We had a whole quarter note to sit here and contemplate our existence as we switched from triple to duple and quadruple. We don't get that with this one. You have to kind of switch your brain over the bar line, and it can be really challenging. So making that transfer is also one of the challenges of this line. Let's do it again. I'll still subdivide out loud for you. 3 and 4. Ta, 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 ta. All right, last time. This time I'm not going to subdivide with you. I'll still do the rhythm with you, but no subdivisions out loud. So for you, that means you drop the conducting and tap basically what it was I was speaking for you. Then absolutely do that. Go to town with that. So let's give it one more go. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Ta, 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 ta. Okay. So looking ahead to Unit 4, which does start Tuesday, even though your Unit 3 deadline is not till next Thursday. Unit 4, we will still be working with these sort of more complicated polyrhythms, but we're going to continue to expand them. So we introduced these half-note triplets not too long ago. We're also going to be dealing with longer expansions of that triple over a duple or quadruple frame. So looking ahead, that's kind of the rhythmic topic for Unit 4. Speaking of Unit 4, tomorrow you will see a video pop up on Google Classroom, and it is your first video for Unit 4, and it is introducing the idea of listening for sonatiform markers, and it's just dealing with exposition. So if you could please watch that before class on Tuesday, we're going to embark on our first sonata form discussion in class on Tuesday. So give that video a watch, please, before then. Your Unit 3 quiz is, like I said, going to be available in about 15 minutes for you. So you can get that done as well. If you haven't started feeding me Unit 3 material, I would say maybe try and get a couple of those out of the way before next week. Final deadline for that is Thursday. I think that is all I had. Oh, yes, registration. So registration is coming up for you guys. I had a couple people ask about what Skills 4 is going to look like in terms of in-person, hybrid, etc. We are 99% anticipating that Skills is going to be taught the same way in the spring as it is being taught this semester. We have so many spacing kind of things to worry about with you guys being in your smaller ensembles, and singing in an enclosed space is still verboten. So really the best way we can teach aural skills moving forward for right now is the way we have been. So Professor Miyake and I are still teaching Skills 4, and we have a third faculty member joining us, and you can kind of anticipate the same structure we have this semester, more or less. Professor Miyake and I have been working pretty closely this semester, and we pretty much like the framework we've got going. So your spring semester Skills 4 will look a lot like Skills 3. So just keep that in mind as you enter into the registration phase. If you've got questions, though, feel free to send me an email and ask about, and I will answer them to the best of my abilities. Okay, I let my other classes out a couple minutes early today, so I will let you guys do the same. If you've got questions, like I said, hop in office hours today or hang out and ask about. Otherwise, if you're doing anything for Halloween, stay safe, take pictures of your costumes. My husband and I had grand plans to go as Paul Hollywood and Mary Berry, but obviously there's nowhere to go, so we'll probably just bake cookies at home. But if you are doing something, stay safe, take pictures. If you're not doing anything, still stay safe, and you can take pictures too. So have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you guys on Tuesday. Thank you for your work.